For two viewpoints on immigration and the 14th Amendment, we turn to Tom Tancredo of Colorado. He founded the House Immigration Reform Caucus when he served as Colorado's representative to Congress. He joins us now live from Denver. And Michele Waslin is a senior research analyst at the Immigration Policy Center. She has worked with La Raza and immigrant rights groups in Illinois, and she joins us from Washington. Thanks to both of you for joining us. And let me start with Congressman Tancredo, because I want to just talk about the 14th Amendment for just a moment, just to simply put it up on the screen and read this to our audience. This is how it reads. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Congressman Tancredo, that sounds pretty cut and dry, isn't it?
Well, of course, there's that clause that you mentioned that that's very important in this discussion, under the jurisdiction thereof. We recognize that people who come here, let's say as ambassadors, foreign diplomats, whatever, they have children here. No one considers them to be citizens of the United States. We don't claim it. They don't claim it. There are certainly exceptions to this idea that anybody born here is automatically a citizen of the United States, regardless of the citizenship status of their parents and status in the country.
And how serious a problem is this?
Yeah,
let me ask you this, though. But how serious a problem is this? Because, you know, NPR reported earlier this year, citing data from the National Center for Health Statistics, that of the 4 million live births in the United States in 2006, only 7,670 were children born to mothers who said they do not live here. So is this really a drop in the bucket?
Well, of course, what you've just described is not a person necessarily who is an illegal alien. There's just a person who says they don't live here. They could be here on a tourist visa. But what you have, of course, I'm trying to think now whether it was fair. It might have been Friends of Immigration, American Immigration Reform, who have identified at least 220,000 people born here last year to parents who are not legally present in the United States. So there's a wide disparity, I guess, when you get the reports from different organizations. But please understand this, that from my point of view, calling for a constitutional amendment is not necessary, should not be done. And I'll tell you why. It is something that should be adjudicated at the Supreme Court. It has never happened. We have never had a Supreme Court ruling on this particular concept.
Well, let me go to Michele Waslin on that.
And we should, because I think...
Let me go to Michele Waslin on that, because, I mean, do you think that the congressman is correct that this is ripe for a constitutional challenge? And can you imagine the Supreme Court siding against the 14th Amendment?
No, I can't. In fact, the Supreme Court has decided in favor of birthright citizenship several times. Look, this is nothing more than an attack on the Constitution,
not for illegals,
on fundamental American values, and it's a distraction from the very real immigration problems that we have. Furthermore, denying birthright citizenship would be expensive, impractical. It would affect every single American, not just illegal immigrants. And it's a distraction. This would not be effective. This would do nothing to resolve the very real problems that we have with illegal immigration in this country.
And Michele, you said just there at the end of what your statement there that there is a real immigration problem in this country. What should be done about it? I mean, what is your you've represented La Raza and some of these other groups who come to the defense of illegal immigrants. What is your solution?
Look, our immigration laws haven't been changed for about 20 years. What we need is a well-functioning legal immigration system for the 21st century. We need a system that works for American families, that works for American businesses, that takes full advantage of the economic opportunities of immigration. We need an immigration system that's in tune with our American values. We do need to legalize the undocumented immigrants that are living here in this country, and then we need to enforce these laws.
That's just not going to wash with a lot of Americans, right, Michele? That's just not going to go over well to take all of the folks who are here now illegal and just presto, they're now legal.
You know, actually, if you look at polls, the majority of Americans do support comprehensive immigration reform that includes legal status. People understand that we can't just deport 12 million people. We can't rip apart American families. We need a real solution, and that solution includes legalizing those people that are here. Look, if we legalize undocumented workers, that means that these workers will all be working in the formal economy. They'll all be paying payroll taxes. And we also have a study that shows, or numerous studies that show, that when immigrants have legal status, they earn more, they pay more in taxes, they consume more. It's good for our economy.
Well, let me get to Congressman Tancredo. Congressman, would you make this retroactive? Because according to the Pew Hispanic Center, there are about 4 million American citizen children who have at least one parent who is illegal in this country. Would you make this retroactive and go after those children who are already in this country right now, in our schools, in our communities?
Well, I do not know the extent to which something like that actually could happen as a result of, ex post facto laws. If you were going to actually pass a constitutional amendment, I guess you could throw that in there. But just challenging this whole thing at the Supreme Court, which, by the way, has never heard a case about illegal aliens, children living in this country.
Well, I would ask you, would you make it retroactive?
Let me tell you,
could you answer that question? Would you make it retroactive?
If I was writing the constitutional amendment?
Sure.
If I was writing the amendment, sure, I'd put that. Absolutely, I'd put that in.
And so how would you go about rounding up all of those children to deport them from the country?
This should never have happened. This should never, ever have happened.
Right.
We should never have been interpreting the 14th Amendment so bizarrely. It has nothing to do with the illegal immigrants.
So how would you go about doing that?
The children of slaves,
ask you that question, if you don't mind, because
that
is a key question in all this. How would you go about rounding up those children to deport them from this country? That's what you're talking about doing.
Well, you don't have to deport any. You don't have to round up, deport. You say all these things as if that's the only way to actually deal with this issue. You are looking at and especially when we're talking about the people who are working here today. All you really have to do is enforce the law. All you have to do is pass E-Verify, mandating E-Verify. The only people who could be employed in this country are people who are legally present in the country. That's really all that's necessary, because you know what happens when you do that? People go home. They go back to the country of origin, and then they can apply to come into this country
process of attrition, really. I mean, through the arresting process, as police stops are made and that sort of thing. If there are children in the car who are in the country illegally under a revised 14th Amendment, you were saying that's how the children would be apprehended and taken out of the country.
Remember.
I'm just trying to get a handle on how you would do this practically speaking.
That are also here illegally. We're not taking a child alone. These are children of parents who are here illegally. If the family is here illegally, that's how they end up getting out of the country, is being either deported or going home voluntarily. It's not the child. You're talking about a child of two people who are both illegally present in the country. So you don't take the child away from the family, but you know what? That family is here illegally, and they have to actually, it is the law. I know you may not like it. It is the law.
And Michele, there are a lot of folks out there who completely agree with Congressman Tancredo. He's mounting a campaign for governor based very much on this issue in his state of Colorado. But I asked him about some of the practical challenges there. They would be difficult, but there are a lot of folks who would like to see that happen. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that a lot of people don't understand that this would be changing the U.S. Constitution, changing the 14th Amendment, which is the cornerstone of all of our civil rights law, due process, equal protection under the law. That's an assault on fundamental American values. Furthermore, this is not just something that has to do with illegal immigrants or some wealthy tourists that are coming here to have children. This is something that would affect every single one of us. Right now we have a very simple way of proving citizenship in this country. If you're born here, you're a citizen. But now imagine that my birth certificate is no longer proof of my U.S. citizenship. What this means is that for every child born in the United States, every child, we would have to determine that child's citizenship status by looking at the immigration papers of their parents and possibly grandparents.
Their parents' citizenship.
This would require,
you would be looking at their parents' citizenship once a child is born in the United States.
That's right. So it would require a large bureaucracy.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
A birth registry. I think that this is a big government, quite frankly, solution to a non-problem.
All right. Well, we'll have to we'll have to leave the discussion there. Obviously, the discussion is not going away anytime soon, so plenty of more opportunities to talk about this. Congressman Tom Tancredo, candidate for governor in the state of Colorado, we should also mention, and Michele Waslin, an immigration rights advocate in Washington, D.C. Thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Time for the latest.